every Wrong Turn movie ranked. Hey there guys, and welcome back to Dino Reviews. We finally made it to our ranking of every single movie in the Wrong Turn series. Now guys, I'm going to go through my own personal ranking, but remember, if you have your own ranking, leave it down below in the comments and let's talk about it. We're going to kick things off. In 7th place is Wrong Turn 6. I thought the movie was quite bizarre, it was quite over the top, and just the plot was extremely uninteresting. It centered around a guy who found out his family were these cannibal inbreds. He was at first freaked out about it and then very quickly just joins the family. I had many different issues with the film. Mainly the plot itself was just quite convoluted, it was quite bizarre, and it made absolutely no sense. As well as that, the characters in this one were extremely unlikable. They pretty much went out and got a bunch of British actors and got them to put on American accents and film the entire thing in Bulgaria. As for positives, I will say the two actors that play the brother and sister incest duo were probably the best things in the movie, but beyond that the movie fell apart very quickly. Now as well as that, the three cannibals we kind of come to know at this point in the series were completely sidelined. We don't see a lot of their characters at all. They just are kind of there to kill people and then disappear off screen. My biggest issue with the movie though was definitely the production. It just felt quite cheap. It felt like there was not a lot of effort that went into this one, and you can see that resonate on screen. Next up, coming in at 6th place, is Wrong Turn 5. Now going into this one, I actually really did enjoy the movie. I liked the cast, the characters we had, I liked the location and the setting, and of course we got the iconic pinhead throughout the entire movie. But very quickly the movie began to fall apart. The characters we're introduced to and were meant to be following actually get killed off in the most brutal and depressing ways, and the last 20 minutes of the movie is quite mean-spirited. Now as for the cannibals, again they are kind of pushed to the side in this one, but even at that they're dumbed down tremendously compared to the movies that came before it. The three cannibals in the original Wrong Turn and most of the series are kind of seen as these hunters. They know how to kill, they know how to hunt their food, and particularly they don't have to rely on anybody else. In this one they're a bunch of bumbling idiots that are really depending on somebody else keeping them safe. As well as that, when they are killing people on screen, they do kind of come across as really over the top, silly and laughable characters. As I said, the last 20 to 30 minutes are definitely some of the most depressing horror I've seen in a while. I'm not sure why they went down that route. We kind of follow these characters throughout the entire movie and they die in the most bizarre and depressing ways. I'm not sure were they trying to do something similar to The Devil's Reject, where they want the audience to root for the killers. The thing is, if you don't give your killers any character development, it's very hard to do that. Coming in at 5th place is Wrong Turn 3. Now with this one, I was quite surprised how much I didn't enjoy the movie. The plot and the premise was actually quite interesting. We follow a bunch of inmates and guards as they try to take on Treefinger, the only remaining member of the original cannibals. What was disappointing about the movie is we had these inmates and these guards who you would think would know how to defend themselves, but none of them could shoot a gun or really take down one single cannibal. That did sour the movie for sure, and the plot just kind of unraveled as the movie went on. It was the same thing all over again. They would just argue, get away from Treefinger, and then try to take him down, and that was pretty much repetitive throughout the entire movie. It was a letdown for sure. Now the positives of the movie are definitely the kills in this one. Although they use CGI and it looks absolutely awful, I did enjoy the jigsaw style traps that Treefinger had. Did it go right with the rest of the franchise? No, it kind of made no sense at that point in the series, but it was the only good thing I enjoyed about the movie. Coming in at 4th place is Wrong Turn 4. Now overall I did enjoy this movie. I definitely have my issues with it, but I enjoyed the backstory we got with the three brothers from the original series. As well as that, I enjoyed the snow setting. I thought it was quite unique and just different, particularly for this franchise. Now the kills in this one are quite sadistic. They're a little bit too much at times, but the worst thing is the characters that suffer these fates are some of the most annoying and irritating characters I've ever seen in a horror movie. The characters in this, the decisions they make in particular, are some of the most illogical and stupid decisions I've seen from a cast. Throughout the movie I was actually happy to see them get killed off, particularly in the final scene of the movie, but what's worse is the only maybe two likeable characters that I gelled with in the film suffer suffered the most horrible and heinous fates. It's a tricky one. It's definitely a love-hate movie for me. It's not one I would go back and watch again, but it's definitely what I would recommend if you haven't seen the Wrong Turn series. Down to our final three, and coming in at third place is Wrong Turn 2. Now going into this one, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. I knew about the legacy of the Wrong Turn movies and how they do kind of fall apart after the original film. But I honestly really enjoyed this one. I actually had a blast with it. It was quite refreshing and surprising. I liked the cast in particular. Now when the movie started, with the characters, I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. They had that whole reality TV format, but as the movie goes on, we spend enough time with the characters that you really do develop them. As well as that, the kills in this one, although they're over the top and they're quite slapstick, they work in the movie. They're quite gory, they're quite bloody, but they're just really fun. Compared to the rest of the sequels, this is definitely the best of the lot. Making it to second place, and this might be a controversial one, is the original Wrong Turn. Now the reason I'm giving this movie second spot is, although I do enjoy the movie, I think it's a fun horror movie, it's just not very original. When the movie was released, we hadn't really seen a cannibal movie for quite some time. You know, we hadn't seen a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or a Hills of Eyes, so in that regard it was definitely a breath of fresh air, but overall it's a very moderate movie. Eliza Dushku is definitely a brilliant final girl, and Desmond Harrington is also a great final guy. And that's what I like in this movie. The characters in particular, they are good characters. Even just the four main characters in the movie, the other two are these kind of engaged couples, so you do gel with them, you want them to survive, and you want to root for them in the movie. That was probably my favourite thing about Wrong Turn compared to a lot of horror movies and slasher movies in particular at that time. They were characters that were quite relatable. Now as for the cannibals, I enjoy them in the movie. I actually think they're quite smart and intelligent, and what makes them dangerous is they're hunters. They pretty much know these woods and every inch of it. The movie is great at building tension, particularly in the scene where the characters discover the house of the cannibals, but also just when they're up in the trees. So for me, although I do really enjoy this one, I do think it deserves second place just because it's not the most original horror movie out there, and it is at times a little bit mediocre. Taking first spot is Wrong Turn 2021, the reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, of the original movie. Now this is definitely a strange one because honestly it is nothing like the original series. It's a completely fresh and new storyline, but I didn't mind that watching it. I absolutely loved the Foundation and their whole storyline. I also love the characters in this one, how they were set up and how things developed for them to meet the actual Foundation. As well as that, this is one of the best directed, if not the best directed movie in the series. We also spend enough time with the characters for the first 40 minutes to develop them, so that when we do come face to face with the Foundation and their laws, how they go about things, the movie becomes extremely unnerving and very scary. This is definitely a different movie than the rest of the Wrong Turn series. It's a bit strange to rank it with that series, but overall it's my favourite one in the franchise. At times it's upsetting, it's unnerving, and it will stay with you after you've seen the movie. As I said in my review, my favourite part of the new Wrong Turn is actually the darkness. I do hope we develop into that a little bit more in a future sequel, but even if we don't get a sequel, what a way for this series to go out. By far this is my favourite one in the series just because it's original, it's very well written, it's very well directed, and it's just a breath of fresh air. But guys, that is just my own ranking of the Wrong Turn series. As I said, if your ranking is different, make sure you let me know in the comments down below and let's discuss it. Remember guys, if you like, you can of course subscribe to the channel, pop on your notification bell if you get a chance, just so you don't miss any videos coming out over the next week. Now if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure guys you click that link down below, and I will see you in the next one.